have got a blockbuster trade on our hands, folks, as it looks like Russell Westbrook is headed to the Los Angeles Lakers. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Hall back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA here to talk about this trade between the Lakers and the Wizards. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that big red subscribe button, guys. I bring you the best, latest, and greatest NBA content around, analysis that you can find nowhere else like this channel. So hit that big red subscribe button. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms, guys, and hit the bell icon so you are indeed notified every time I drop a new video. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm trying to get this video out ASAP for you guys. The news just broke. Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski is tweeting about it. Shams Charania is tweeting about it. Mark Stein, all the top reporters are tweeting about it, that the Lakers and the Wizards are closing in on a trade for Russell Westbrook, okay? Now, it hasn't fully been confirmed yet, but by the time you're watching this, it may have been. So I'm assuming that it is going to be fully confirmed and completed. Let's talk about the full trade details themselves. Some of it could change, maybe draft picks, etc. But the main components of the trade details are as follows. The Lakers get Russell Westbrook, and then the Wizards get Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and a 2021 first-round pick. Some of the other trade details that I've heard could be a second-round pick going to the Lakers, something like that. But essentially, that is the trade. So let's analyze it. Let's break this down, okay? Let's start with the Lakers side. Obviously, they're getting Russell Westbrook. What do I think about this move? I think it's a risk worth taking. That's where I'm at. Okay, so look, as the Lakers are currently constructed, they are a title contender. They've won a title with this type of roster. We know that. So it's not like the Lakers needed to make this move, but then you might ask the question, why did they, Faiz, if they're already a title contender? And I think the reason they made this move is because of the Nets, all right? The Brooklyn Nets, we know for a fact well, I shouldn't say for a fact, but we know more than likely if they had stayed healthy with Kyrie Irving and James Harden and Kevin Durant, all three of them playing for the entire playoffs, I believe they would have won the championship over the Milwaukee Bucks. That's not a slight to the Bucks. I just believe the Nets would have done it. But even so, if you don't want to talk about the Nets, let's talk about the Bucks, right? They have three really good players in Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday. So the Lakers were missing that third player, right? They didn't have a third guy after LeBron and AD. And so what happened in the playoffs this year when AD went down? It went back to everything going back on LeBron's shoulders. So LeBron needed another guy with him to be able to take the burden off of the offense. And now you're bringing in a guy like Russell Westbrook, who, folks, he's still damn good. All right, this man averaged a triple-double last year, okay? People think he went to the Wizards and he was washed. Absolutely not. This man is still a walking triple-double, okay? So Russell Westbrook still has some left in the tank. And as a facilitator, he's going to be able to take a lot off of LeBron's shoulders. So I believe the Lakers made this move based off the fact that they felt like they needed an extra star 3 to really, really push themselves to compete for a championship because of teams, like I mentioned, like the Bucks and the Nets. So that's the reason why they did it. Now, Russell Westbrook gets a lot of flack, especially for me. I'm not a big fan either because his style of basketball doesn't really contribute to winning, right? Because of the way he plays, right? It's usually just put his head down, attack the basket, not a lot of court awareness, IQ. But everything changes here when you're playing alongside LeBron James, who obviously makes everyone around him better. And here's the thing, even I will admit, right, like Russell Westbrook has won before. He might not have won a championship, but he's been to a finals with OKC. When you put the right players around Russell Westbrook, he can contribute to winning basketball. And at this point in his career, that's all Russell Westbrook wants. He's got the money. He's got plenty of money, so he wants to win a championship. He's going back home to LA. People that don't know, he is from California. He is from that area. And so Russell Westbrook could completely have a different motivation now. It's not about the numbers or the stats or anything. It's about winning basketball. And he's going to do what needs to be done to do that. I kind of see this similar to how the Miami Heat were with, D Wade and LeBron, right? So you had two guys attacking the basket, two slashers. Similarly here, LeBron and Russ, two guys that like to attack the basket, and you got Anthony Davis, who is better than Chris Bosh was at that point, and he can do it all. So for this trade, for the Lakers side of things, I like it. I'm not going to say it's an absolute home run, but I do like it, and I do think it was worth it. Now, I will say one thing that is very, very, very important. They need to get shooters on this roster. This cannot be the only move that the Lakers make. Now that they got Russell Westbrook and they got rid of their shooters in Kuzma and KCP, they need to replace them with other guys. The only shooters on the roster that were on the roster that still might be are guys like Wesley Matthews, Ben McLemore, who knows if they're going to bring him back. Guys like that. Alex Caruso, really not a shooter to me. Neither is THT. So they need to get shooters. You need to get your Shane Battiers, your Ray Allens that you had on the Heat. You need them on this Lakers team. So I expect them to go out and get some shooters because you need to space the floor. The spacing with LeBron and Russ is not going to be good, especially with LeBron, Russ, and AD. It's not going to be very good. So you need to get some shooters, okay? I don't want Andre Drummond back if I'm the Lakers. I don't want anybody clogging the paint. I need to just get shooters so I can spread the floor out, let Russ attack, let LeBron attack, let AD attack, and go from there. All right, let's switch over to the Wizards side of things here. So the Wizards got Kuzma, KCP, and Montrezl Harrell in a 2021 first-round pick. Look, let's be honest here. They weren't going anywhere with Russell Westbrook. We know that, okay? They weren't winning a championship with Westbrook and Bradley Beal. So they needed to do something. I don't mind them moving on from Russell Westbrook. So what is it really that we are talking about then? We're talking about the package, what they got back for Russ, right? So Kuzma, KCP, Harrell, and a first-round pick. The most valuable thing here is the first-round pick, all right? It's going to be a lower first-round pick because the Lakers are obviously a solid team. And so when you take a look at the players then, Kyle Kuzma is the youngest player out of these three guys, and he's under contract for 2 more seasons. I believe he's got a player option, a decent, affordable contract at $13 million a year. KCP, I believe he's got another year left on his deal, a year or two, but it's not guaranteed. And Harrell's an expiring contract after the season. So this is a lot about clearing the books, getting money off. And at this point, I don't know how the Wizards keep Bradley Beal. I would just trade him and just rebuild completely. But if they are deciding to keep Bradley Beal, maybe this is a move to clear out cap space to acquire other talent. But to me, I don't know how that would work because at this point, it's literally Bradley Beal and nobody on this roster. I know they've got some young guys like a Rui Hachimura, etc. But for the most part, folks, I would really rebuild this team if I'm the Wizards. I would start fresh, trade Bradley Beal, get all the assets I can. So as far as a haul for Russell Westbrook at this point in his career, I think it's a decent haul. Kyle Kuzma, again, not a fan. I'm not a fan at all, but he's still young. Maybe he can still develop. KCP's a shooter. They'll probably flip him if they decide to keep him. And Harrell, too. I don't expect both of these guys to have to stay with the Wizards. They could move on. Again, depends on the direction they go, right? If they're bringing in some other stars to surround Bradley Beal with, then they probably keep him. If not, then I think they trade him. I think they move on from him. So a decent haul for the Wizards. But overall, I'm going to say the Lakers won this trade slightly. But I do think both parties got what they wanted. I don't think anyone got gypped. So just to summarize, guys, Lakers need to get some more shooters on the roster because right now the floor spacing is going to be awful. And the Wizards need to trade Bradley Beal and rebuild completely because I just don't see how you are going to build around Bradley Beal with this barren of a roster now. A decent haul, but nothing to write home about. So let me know what you guys think. I'm surprised the Wizards couldn't get Talent Horton Tucker. Don't like that. I think they could have tried to get him, THT. Other than that, the Lakers don't really have too many other pieces. Alex Caruso, like I mentioned. So I think the Lakers won this trade, folks, slightly. And I think if the Wizards could, they should have gotten THT. So that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think. I think the Lakers, we're already contenders before this. They're still going to be contenders. And I do think this makes them slightly better than they were before. Wizards obviously get worse, but they should want to get worse. So leave a comment down below as always. Thanks for watching.